Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. Feliz Navidad. Hi, everyone. Hi, Joan. Joan O'Keefe, nice to see you. Sharon. Hi, ladies. That's a Jose Feliciano. Oh, if you ever get a chance, go to YouTube and Google YouTube Jose Feliciano, Feliz Navidad, and watch that beautiful little rendition of that lovely, simple little song. And I know Christmas is over, but we had a death in the family on Christmas Eve. So for me, I want to hold on to Christmas for as long as I can. So that's why I wasn't here last week. It was an emergency and then a death related to that. And so here I am now, and we're going to take up where we left off last time, which means that we're going to be talking about a medicine that covers leg cramps and head injuries and whooping cough. Seem unrelated, don't they? But they actually are very tightly related. So what do they have in common? See if you can tell me what you think. I'm not going to tell you the remedy. Let's see if anyone knows what those commonalities can be. Leg cramps, head injuries, and whooping cough. Kind of an interesting way of looking at this. And once you put those three together, you will likely never forget this medicine. It is a beautiful medicine that can be profound when used properly. And so let's see what we come up with. I'm going to say hi to some folks while you are ding, 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 ding. Think about what it could be. Merry Christmas from South Salem. Hi, Linda. Merry Christmas from Maine. Hi, Deborah. Nice to see everyone. Hillsboro. Wonderful to see you all. Let's see. Hi, Rachel. Hope all is well with your family. Emergency from last week. I was praying for you. Thank you. Thank you. No, there was a death. I'll talk about it sometime. I'm not quite ready to talk about it publicly at this point, but I will. Oh, yes. Thank you very much. There's Jose Feliciano. Feliz Navidad. Official video of 2016. Watch it. It's just heartwarming. I've been watching it for years. I love it. Okay. And let's see, Amy. Let's go through this again for those who are new to tonight, who didn't hear exactly what I said. What do leg cramps, head injuries, and whooping cough have in common that we could put together as one medicine and use one medicine for all three of those conditions? And I might say with a plum. I will tell you that when I was in Calcutta several years ago working at the Banerjee Homeopathic Research Foundation, I caught whooping cough. And this medicine worked within days. Now, whooping cough they call it the 100-day cough. It lasts often for 100 days. I only had it by the time I realized what it was, I didn't know what it was, what was happening. I just thought it was just a garden variety cough until I started coughing my guts out. And you can't catch your breath. I mean, it's really profound coughing. And I realized that it must be whooping cough. And then one of my doctor friends at the clinic said, you bet that's exactly what that is. It's whooping cough. But, I got to tell you, there's no way of knowing for sure what whooping cough is. It's only clinical observation. There are no tests to determine it other than what we observe. So if it looks like whooping cough, smells like whooping cough, and sounds like whooping cough, it's likely whooping cough, especially since I know a little boy who was standing in front of me at the clinic had whooping cough as well, and I probably got it from him. Okay, so let's see. Blood vessel. Sorry for your loss. Thank you very much, Jenny. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Judy. All right, from Niagara Falls. Hi, Louise. All right, Arizona. Okay, so I don't want to know the remedy. I want to know what you think the action could be. What do these three have in common? Not the medicine, although arnica is a good choice because arnica does have to do with head injuries and could do with leg cramps, as a matter of fact. But there's one that's even tighter than that. Hi from Knoxville, California. Feliz Navidad. All righty. Let's see if anyone can come up with some ideas. So, when someone has a head injury, one of the concerns we have, of course, is a concussion. And with a concussion can come seizures. Now I might get you a little bit closer because seizures, in some ways, are like leg cramps, right? Or spasms. So, and what does a cough have to do with that, especially a cough such as whooping cough? I think we're getting it. Spasms. Teresa, you bet. Lisa Hendricks, you got it. Cuprum, Linda, absolutely, you got it. You know the medicine already. Linda, beautiful, nice job. It's Cuprum metallicum. Cuprum metallicum, it's in my Materia Medica, it's right here. And as a matter of fact, when I was organizing my notes through the last 30 years of studying this, look at this book. That's one of my Materia Medicas. I've had this rebound twice. It's time for another rebind, wouldn't you think? And then here are my notes on this medicine, Cuprum metallicum. It is copper, and it causes, when there's too much copper, it causes spasms. So when we are using it for something like a head injury, we're using it as a prophylactic of sorts against seizures. So could it be for other seizures? Could it be for epilepsy? Indeed, it can. And can it be used for a cough? Because the cough is spasmodic. So Cuprum metallicum is all about spasms. So whether it's a cough that's spasming, now some coughs are just, garden variety coughs, but when it comes to this kind of a cough, whooping cough, the spasms are what are really noteworthy. That's what holds our attention, is the kind of spasm. It's breathlessness, trying to catch the breath and then cough, 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 cough. So it's so profoundly racking in the lungs that the breath has to be taken, and with that can come a whoop with it. Doesn't always have to have a whoop. When I had whooping cough, I actually did not have a whoop. I think it would be nice if you had one every time so that you could identify it immediately, but not necessarily so. So I'm going to jump around here and give you ways to look at Cuprum metallicum, C-U-P-R-U-M, Cuprum metallicum, because it's a metal, because of course it is copper. So homeopathic copper. Now, I have to tell you a story, and I've written about it, and if you're so inclined, you could look it up. Joette Calabrese, let's see. How would that be written? It was an article I wrote for Wise Traditions. It's the Weston Price Foundation quarterly journal. And it was about our chickens that had a condition. And it was, let me think about it for a second. Now I'm losing my the memory for what the condition was. It'll come to me in a minute. But at any rate, there can be a strange little gait to a walk. So it's like a spasmodic walk. It can be seizures. It can be for a cough that's spasmodic. It can be for leg cramps at night, simple little leg cramps. There can be even growing pains in a child, or cramps that result from overuse, such as running a marathon. Cuprum metallicum. Now, what potency would we use? Thank you for your sympathy. I see all of these lovely sympathy. Yes, spasms. Not vascular so much, although it could help with vascular issues, but it's really more spasms. Spasms and muscle spasms because, of course, the lungs are muscles, and so the brain is. I don't think that, now that I think of it, I don't think it matters whether or not it's a muscle spasm. They are simply spasms, although we know them to be more associated with muscles, don't we? All right. Yes, spasms. Look at all these people who got it right. Absolutely. I agree with Judy. Someone says. All righty. So last night I fainted and hit my head in the bathroom tile. Now, so what we do is normally we are taught in homeopathy, especially Homeopathy 101, to use Arnica montana for head injuries. I like the idea of using Arnica montana and Cuprum metallicum. So Arnica is for the vascular, of the potential of hematomas, for any vascular issues that could come as a result of a head injury, for concussions, for the shock of the injury. That's all Arnica montana. Cuprum metallicum in conjunction with that, and I would use them in tandem. I would use Arnica montana 200C along with, and here's the potency we're going to use, Cuprum metallicum 6. Cuprum metallicum 6 was great for my cough, my whooping cough. Cuprum metallicum 6 for leg spasms. Cuprum metallicum 6 for seizures. For any time we see spasms. We could even see spasms of the eyelids. Now, look, I'm not going to tell you that you should be taking Cuprum metallicum if you have just a little eye flutter once in a while. I mean, everyone has that from time to time, or a little muscle twitch. Don't bother with that. Remember, homeopathy is medicine. This is not supplements, not vitamins, not nutrients. We save these medicines for when they are truly needed. We want to understand that this is medicine and it can cause harm. Don't believe for a minute that homeopathy is virtually safe. It carries with it potential of problems as well. So we want to use it judiciously and with intelligence. Now, I will say, having said that it's relatively safe because we don't see side effects. Instead, what we see is perhaps a misuse or misunderstanding of when to use a medicine, and then it can muddy up the picture, so to speak, muddy up the case. So, Cuprum metallicum. Let's see what kind of questions are coming in for this. I told my sister to try it a couple of months ago for her nephew's seizures, and it totally helped. You bet. I've seen it work many times, regardless of the cause of the seizures, whether the seizures are a reaction to a medication, whether the seizures are epileptic in nature, whether they're as a result of a gut problem, because we do see that as well, food intolerances that are extreme. We can see seizures regardless of the cause. It doesn't mean we don't also use those medicines that are related to the cause or the etiology. But if there are seizures, we are certainly going to use Cuprum metallicum. Beautiful. Nice job. Let's see. Are redheads more inclined for this remedy than like with sulfur? You mean because of the color because of cuprum and because there's copper? Redheads usually have a higher level of copper in the system. I have one person who brought that up to me a while ago, and she was a redhead, and it was actually a very beneficial remedy for her. But that wasn't the reason I chose it. I think you're onto something, though. In my experience, I believe that so far I've seen one person and it fits so snugly into the what we needed it for. And to be honest, I don't even remember the condition. But yes, I would certainly consider that possibility. Don't look at it, however, as a constitutional. Just look at it as, well, if something comes up, then asthmatic spasms. It could help. It's not my first medicine for asthma. We have many others that I would choose first. Leg cramps. Let's see. I first tried number 8 cell salt, And then I go to cuprum. Oh, you probably, number 8, I don't know the numbers. You must mean magphos, magnesium phosphoricum, and then cuprum metallicum. You bet, that's a great combination. And there's nothing wrong with using them in tandem. Absolutely. Twitching. Yes, twitches. Absolutely. Muscle twitches. Yes. Chorea. When we see twitches, we often see twitches in little boys. And also we see twitches in relationship to parasites. A lot of times parasites are what cause a condition in which there's a little jerky motion, a choreic motion. So yes, it could definitely be used that way. This is the article you may be thinking of. Wise traditions. I can't read it so well. Foul cholera. That's what it was. It was for cholera. Now, and I've talked about this before. Thank you for finding that. I've talked about this situation before. We raised chickens years back, and I'm not going to go through the whole story because I urge you to read the article. It will round out your understanding of cuprum metallicum. But we used cuprum metallicum, and it was for cholera. And why that? Well, I didn't know that it was cholera. I talked to a vet friend of mine who said, you know what, this sounds like foul cholera. And then I went to my repertory and cracked it open and looked under cholera. Now, foul cholera is different than cholera that humans get, but nonetheless, it was worth the effort to look into it because lo and behold, one of the main medicines, of course, was cuprum metallicum. And the chickens had this strange little gait. They were spasming as they walked, and we lost several of them. They died as a result of this foul cholera until I realized what it was and what to use. And lo and behold, it protected those who it saved those who had already shown symptoms and protected the rest of the flock. It's a very interesting case. So you might want to take a look at that, folks. My son is in the ICU with traumatic brain injury. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've been giving cuprum along with arnica. In other words, would you give it continuously until he wakes? I can't tell. I wish I could tell you this is what you do. This is what you should do. But the way in general, the way this medicine works is that and the way any homeopathic medicine acts is that we watch to see for any improvement, so that we get even the tiniest improvement, so that we get the clarity that, yes, this medicine is correct. If there's no response at all, then we have to make the assumption that either we're making a good decision or we're not making a good decision. And we have to kind of go with our gut and move forward with whatever we think is the best choice. But as soon as there's improvement, then we know that we're onto something. And then who would tinker with success? If we see that there's something successful occurring, then we would stick with the medicine. I passed out several weeks ago and landed hand on my face, especially, oh my goodness, I can barely read this. My husband gave me arnica and aconitum. Yes, that's very good, with great results. I still have a pimple-sized dot. I can't read this, on my chin that doesn't want to go away. I don't know about this remedy. I didn't know about this remedy at the time. I don't know. I don't know that cuprum would be appropriate for that. Might have been appropriate at the time. A concussion that has happened several years ago and has caused seizures. That is exactly where I would look at this. So this is a medicine that can be used just like arnica may be used years after a concussion. If there's still a residual condition that remains as a result, don't speculate. Don't speculate, folks. You want to know that the etiology of what's occurring now from that head injury is really the head injury is the causation. If you can definitively say that, then I would use the medicines that could have been used, should have been used, wish we had used back then. You bet. You bet. Okay. Do we always use a 6? I have used it in other potencies, but I love 6. And the reason I love 6 is because that's what I've learned from the Banerjees, and they were very clear on using 6s. So I do. I don't tinker with success. When someone like the doctors Banerjee have used these medicines consistently for over 150 years cumulatively, I take heed and I pay attention to them. And I urge you to do the same. When I often get a cough, particularly in winter, where I can feel my throat instantly going dry and start coughing and can't stop for several minutes. I had initially thought of Rumix. Rumix is a very good one. Rumix is a good one for that. And I've also written about spasmodic coughs that are relentless, not whooping cough, that's cuprum, but spasmodic coughs. Google my name, spasmodic coughs, and you will find more information on that. And I like your choice. I think Rumix is possibly a good choice, and so might be the one that you're going to read about to learn, to see which fits best. Okay. With this help, a twitching hand. It could help spasms that are related to limbs. Yes, it certainly could. But I never tell you that it will. We don't know. We never, there's nothing absolute in medicine. There's nothing absolute in life, for that matter. It certainly is something strong to consider. If a person is having seizures, like in some sort of disorder, would you take it twice per day long term? It's seizures, generally speaking, because they're chronic, and anytime we see a chronic condition, we generally use the medicine twice daily. That is the way it's usually used. If something is an acute, then we might use it more frequently. So, for example, if someone has arthritis, we're going to use Symphytum, Roostox, whatever we might choose for that particular arthritic suffering twice daily over a period of many days, weeks, maybe even months. And if it proves to be valuable, fruitful, then, but it's not done, we would continue using it. If, however, someone overused their muscles, I'm thinking of a story once when my mother had cleaned, it was spring, and she was cleaning out the garage for the first time in the season. And then she raked the leaves, and it was all springtime cleanup. And my mother had a tendency to overwork. And she was cleaning and raking and worked very hard. And she was in her early 70s. And she had overdone it. She wasn't accustomed to doing that much heavy work in one day. And by the end of the day, she was in tremendous pain. Every joint, every muscle, every bone in her body was screaming. And my parents called me. She was crying with pain. My father was trying to get her into the bathtub, hoping that maybe she could soak it away. And I told my father to use Roostox 1M. This is not something we use daily necessarily, but because it was an acute situation and it was rather extreme, it was definitely called for. And so he gave her a dose of Roostox 1M that evening, then in the middle of the night because she was still in pain, and then on getting up or first thing in the morning, did it again. And by the next day, she still had some pain, but it had gone down to a whisper rather than a scream in pain. And by the end of the next day, as I recall, it was a long time ago, she was free of it. So that's how we're using it more frequently. So when we see something that's an acute, such as whooping cough, such as a head injury, that's when we're going to be using it more frequently because the vital force needs it more in depth. However, when it's a chronic condition, we use these medicines on a day-to-day basis, usually twice daily. Neuropathy, it's not my first choice for neuropathy. I think I wanted to tell you folks that my materia medica is now in Español, which is why I sang Feliz Navidad, and because it's Christmas time. And so with that, folks, I hope you study. I want to see that you study and learn as much as you possibly can. This 2020, make it a year of learning and studying and taking care of your family so that you have more autonomy and less suffering in your family. And with that, I say, God bless all of you and good night. Bye, everyone. Have a great new year.